Bang! Knees and knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara's busy, and today we are talking about burr removal. We're going to talk about the burr when sharpening and how to remove it. It is one of the most important things to getting a very sharp edge, and you can't get a very sharp edge without knowing about the burr. Let's talk about it. So when you sharpen a knife on a stone, so this is the stone, this is the knife. Once you find your angle, and you can repeat your angle over and over, the same angle, you're going to get a burr. And what a burr is, if this is the stone and this is the knife that we were just dragging across the stone, after you drag it across the stone, the steel from right here is going to start coming off. And it's going to slowly come off like this and start going like that. So if we were sharpening this side, it's going to start coming off. And on this side, the steel is going to fold over like that. So now we will have a burr on the opposite side. So if I'm sharpening this side, as I'm sharpening, the burr will be on this side. Now there's a couple different ways to feel it. Some people use their nail. They scratch it with their nail. I tend to just use my finger. I rub my finger. Now I'm going to teach you guys a trick really quick. Well, actually a couple things. One thing, try to get your burr as small as possible. Try to be able to identify a burr. Another thing, keep your nails short when sharpening. It will help out a lot. But make sure once you learn what a burr is and you know how to touch it, like if you're having a hard time locating or figuring it out what a burr is, then yeah, you're probably going to make it bigger than you need to. But once you know what a burr is and know how to identify it, make it as small as possible. It will help you get sharper edges, number one, and number two, it'll help you to not remove more steel than you need to. The burr doesn't have to be gigantic, big, it just needs to be. So, smaller the burr, the better. Now, once you realize the steel folding over and you know how to rub it with your finger and you can feel that little tiny bit of steel coming over the edge, you want to make sure you get it from heel to tip. So all the way across. Now, you're going to have times where you only feel it up here and not down here. Make sure you cover the whole thing. For the most part, you can flip over and do the other side and then go back, but sometimes it's good to just do the entire edge and then flip over and do the other side. Now I'm going to show you guys something else really quick, and we'll come back to the paper because you can watch and know when you're about to get a burr. So let's look at this edge very quickly. You see it. Look at the grip pattern very closely. And always do this with your knife. Really look at the edge and identify what it looks like. Now, let's look at what happens after I go take a couple passes on the stone. Let's look at what's happening. Let me move this so you guys can see. Okay, let's zoom in. Now you see what's happening to the edge. See the grit? Now you can see and look at the grit pattern. You see where it's basically hit almost the entire edge right there? And then look, see how it's not all the way down to the bottom yet. Follow that grip pattern, because what we can see from this right now is that we've hit the top of the bevel, but it hasn't made it down to the very tip of the edge, so I can't possibly have a burr yet. Now that can help you with knowing how many more passes you're going to need, if you're holding the right angle, when your burrs are going to show up, and if your burr is complete from heel to tip. Now, obviously, you can feel for it too, but watching for it, knowing you're hitting your right angle, and all those things is very important. Now, let's do a few more passes. This is the Civivi Elementum. And what I'm doing is I found my angle already, and I'm dragging it across the stone. And then when I get to the tip, I'm just lifting up a little bit with my elbow. Now, let's look at the edge. Now you see, we've pretty much got the entire thing. Let's really look at it and make sure before we feel it and touch for it. It looks like we got it. If my camera would stop getting all jacked up. Let's zoom in a little bit. Now you see where we've missed right there. So we need a little bit more right there, a little bit more right there. The rest is pretty good, but we still want to hit the entire edge when we're doing it. Let's feel. Okay, I got a tiny burr up here, but I am missing it down here. So there we go. Let's look. And then we're going to talk about removing it. You can see I can do a little bit more work right there. But I am feeling the burr all the way up and down. Now, I want to finish though. I don't want to miss that area, because even though I can feel it all the way up and down, that one little tiny spot doesn't have it, even though I can't feel it. We can see I got it all now. This little tiny portion on the top of the bevel is missed, but the tip of the edge is hit, and I can feel the burr all the way down. Now, that will come out as I continue to sharpen. Now, when I get to the other side, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I want to make sure that the burr that I feel on this side transfers over to this side after I sharpen this side. I'm going to do this really quickly. Now I'm going to show you guys how to remove it. Right now, just sharpening this side is removing that burr. But what I'm doing is I'm creating another one. I'm just creating one on the other side. Let's look at it. You can see I haven't hit all the way down yet. You see the grip pattern on top of the shiny part? The shiny part's where I haven't hit yet on this knife. So I will continue. And watching that grip pattern can help me follow my angle, tell me what I'm doing wrong, if I need to lift a little bit, if I need to lay back a little bit. If you're hitting the edge right away without getting a grip pattern on the whole bevel, then you probably need to lay your edge back a little bit. Meaning, lay your angle back a little bit. You might be up too high, and that's why you're getting the very tip of it and not the whole bevel. It's looking very good. Let's feel it now. Oh yeah, we got a, well, I still feel the burr somewhat on the other side. So I got a burr on this side, but I can still feel it a little bit on this side. So what's happening is we got a burr going like this. We want to make it like this, where the burr is only on the other side. All right. See the grip pattern. And let's feel. Oh yeah. Okay, so we got a burr all the way up and down. No burr on this side. It's all on this side. Now there's a couple things we can do now. Since we are at our first stone, and I'm using a diamond plate, I could take like a ceramic rod and just gently rub it. Just one time. No more than one. Just one little, I would just go like that very quickly. And then I would do my 1-1 passes. But since I'm going to stop at this plate, and this is considered my finishing stone right now, even though it's really not, it's my first stone, I'm going to do, you can do a 3-2-1 or just a 1-1 pass. But basically what I'm going to do, remember I have no burr on this side, my burr is completely on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it, check it. You want to get the burr basically, like I said, as small as possible to where you can do one pass and the burr goes over to the other side. So I'm going to do 2 passes on each side to make it a little smaller. And what I'm doing is I'm rocking the burr back and forth. I'm basically making the burr go back and forth from this side to this side, 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 until it finally just goes away and I'm left with a sharp tip. We want to get it down to just a 1-1 pass. So we've done 2 passes per side. Now we're just going to go down to 1 pass per side. Very lightly. I'm only putting enough pressure on this stone, this is a diamond plate, to hold my angle. No more, no less. Very little pressure. You might feel a burr on both sides in the middle of doing this, and you might have to do an extra pass on one side, maybe even an extra 2 passes. We're just trying to get rid of the burr. Now this is an aggressive stone, so a higher grit stone would remove it probably a little faster, because this removes a lot of steel. Then now I would go to my strop after doing my 1-1 very light passes, holding my same angle. Now some people think you lift up a little bit. Like right here, I would lift up a little bit and then do my pass. I don't like that because that can create a micro burr. I believe in just holding your same angle, because as long as you're holding your angle, right, as long as you're holding your angle, you're hitting that entire bevel. So now we go to the strop. Get the strop out. And strop. We're removing any excess pieces of metal that are hanging on that just won't fall off with the stone. Now, like I said, a higher grit stone will definitely take it off cleaner than the low grit, because the low grit is just so aggressive. Oh yeah, very nice. The other side. Test it, and then you can test it on a piece of paper. And this is a 300 grit stone. Couple more passes. And there you guys go. That is how you remove the burr. I know that was just one stone, but we did all of that and got a very nice edge in, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. I don't even think it was that long because I'm also filming and everything else. So it's a very, very nice edge. Extremely sharp. I mean, this thing is very toothy, but it's a great edge. So there you guys go. Now, if you were going through your stones and you can do the burr removal on the first stone and then go to the second one and do the same thing, or you can just sharpen one side, get a burr, sharpen the other side, get a burr, go to the next stone, and then start with the side that has a burr. Start sharpening the burr off, sharpen the whole edge till you have a burr through every stone. So if you have 3 stones, you want to burr with every stone. Say if this is my last stone, say if I have 1 stone, 2 stone, now this is my finishing stone, I'm still going to want to get a burr on my finishing stone. If it's just a polishing stone, maybe not so much. It depends on the polishing stone, but you basically want to burr with every single stone because you want the tip of your edge to be as fine as possible, or should I say as sharp as possible. You want the best point, the best apex you can get off of the stone. So by getting a burr on both sides and then doing the 1-in-1 passes, you are going to minimalize that burr down to a perfect apex. There you guys go. Peace.